Namaste Yogi, and welcome to a new practice here with me on the mat. Feel free to get ready, grab your mat and sit yourself down in the end of your mat, and we're going to start our practice today. All right, situated on the end of our mat, we're taking a deep breath, releasing your palms onto either your thighs or keeping them open, facing the roof. Close down your eyes and find your breath here. Now, what I want you to notice in the first beginning of the practice is the location of your hips and the lower back. Are we anterior tilting our pelvis forward, creating that small arch of the spine? If we do, can we be a bit more gentle and aware of our spine by gently tucking the tailbone under, engaging that lower spine as we start our practice? Deep breath in and release that all out. One more like that. And release it all out. And notice when we keep this slight tuck of the pelvis or the tailbone, that we can feel this elongation of the whole spine quite naturally happening already. Now, to extend that a bit further, we're going to try to lengthen through the whole body by reaching both shoulders down, pulling them towards the floor as you engage and lift your head up high. Imagine the top of your head, the crown, to have a bit of a string attached, reaching to the roof or to the sky. Just sitting in this presence of feeling your whole spine, creating that space in every vertebra or in between. Now, when you're ready, we gently release it all out, and we're going to start moving our body just in small circles, initiating the movement from the hips. So we're swaying around. Keep your hands onto the knees or wherever you feel comfortable. We just want to start creating some awareness in that lower back and maintain the presence of our breath in our whole body today. And when we're ready, we're slowly bringing it into tabletop position. Move your arms and hands onto the mat, stacking your palms underneath the shoulders, and same applies for the knees and your hips. Take a deep breath in, we arch our back and we lift our gaze. Finding cat and cow, but engaging it into a little child's pose. We're pressing down with an arched back, coming all the way into a seated position of child. Then curve your back as you re-enter into tabletop. And inhale, arch the back, sit back towards your child. Exhale, curve the back, coming towards our cat tabletop. Inhale, push back, arching. Exhale, move along forward. A few more like this. Take it in your own pace. And start to noticing as we come up with a curved back that you're really protracting the shoulders, pushing the ground away from you by having that strong upper back. That will also give a nice release into your muscles in between the shoulder blades. And we come along, last repetition. Then gently come into a neutral spine. What we want to do is just tuck our toes under now. And we're going to come back sitting on top of them. We're creating this nice gentle release into the toes, or it actually might not feel gentle at all for a lot of us. Just make sure that your pinky fingers are still pointing to the fronts so that we're untucking them. They might be tucked underneath. Then when you're ready, we're opening our heart space slightly further with a bit of a cactus variation. So we take a deep breath in, reach our arms up. Exhale, cactus arms. Open the heart space to the front and draw the elbows to the back. A few more. Inhale. Exhale. Continue. And exhale. 2 more. Inhaling, reach up. Exhale, cactus. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Now it might feel really intense into our toes at this point. So we're gonna just bring a nice release by untucking, maybe even shaking out the feet towards the floor, tapping the top of our legs or feet onto it. Then gently push up to our first downward facing dog, tucking the toes under, send your hips up high. And as it is our first downward facing dog, I want you guys to create some movement in your body. Whatever feels good to you in this moment, just tap into that, either if it's paddling our feet one at a time towards the floor, or if you want to sway from side to side, rocking and tapping into the outer part of our hip. Just find what works for you, but making sure that we're still creating this nice long spine. We want to bring that motion and focus in today's practice. Really keeping it mobile and creating space so we can release some pressure from our back. What we want to start with is doing that same sort of sequence we did with our cat and cow when we sat back to child's pose, but we're going to do it standing in downward facing dog. So if we have a bit of movement in our downward facing dog, gently find stillness, lifting the heels off the mat. Bring a nice bend into your knees. Then we curve our back as we come forward into a high plank. Then arch your back as you push back, sending the hips up high. We do this for a few more rounds, fully aligning and tapping into this nice fluid moment. Inhale, push back. Exhale, curve, come to the front. Few more. Great, you guys. 2 more repetitions. And then we're gonna come into our low lunge. So when we send it all up high, we stay in our downward facing dog. Swing your right leg up and then bring a bend into your knee. Plant the knee or leg in between your hands. Send that left knee down to the floor and lift your gaze to the front. Wherever we keep our gaze is usually where our shin meets as well. So if we lift our gaze up high and lift the shin, we'll keep this nice heart opening to the top part of our body as well. Now, this might feel a bit of intense into the hip flexor, so breathing some love into that area. Bringing this nice, gentle aspect of your breath into the body where it feels stress. So it's really important to guide your movements with your breath. Deep breath in, and exhale, release. Plant your hands down, tuck the back toes under, and we're gonna step up for a modified pyramid pose. Keep your hands as support by the sides of your front right foot. Then step slightly closer with that back leg. We're finding our pyramid. Still keep gazing to the front if your neck allows for it. If not, we just gaze down onto the floor, finding a focal point that feels good, a drishti, to keep your focus in the same spot. Now to gently square out our hips, we're gonna draw that left hip slightly forward. And if you do want to check in with yourself, you can also bring your right hand onto your back, making sure that it feels sort of square. So we don't need to hyper move that left hip to the front so that we're not actually even balancing them out, but we're just overextending it to the other side instead. So making sure we're tapping into this equal part of both hips being stacked and aligned. Last breath here. Then slowly step to the top, meet your feet, and we find our forward fold. Let yourself hang here for a few seconds, letting your shoulders be really heavy. We take one deep breath. Then slowly roll yourself one vertebra at a time to come up to a standing position. Shoulders aligning by the side of your body, arms moving down. Deep breath in, arms reach up. Give a nice arch to your back. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge from your hips, bend your knees slightly. Inhale, look to the front and lift up your body. Exhale, step back to your high plank. In your high plank, we take a deep breath in. Then exhale, knees, chest and chin, scoop forward and find your mini cobra or lift up for your full cobra. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. And we're just gonna send it to our other side by reaching our left leg up high. Bend your knee, swing it to the front, planting down your left foot. And gaze to the front as we lower that right knee, untucking the toes. If you need a bit of more securement for the knee, feel free to keep the toes tucked under. Keeping your gaze to the front, we take a deep breath. And the same applies here for our upper body. Try to broaden the shoulders, reaching them out towards the sides. Still keeping your hands on the floor. Deep breath in. Release it out. And soften into your hips. Last breath here. Then when you're ready, we gaze down to the floor, plant your palms, tuck the toes under of that right foot and lift off the right knee. We're gonna find our pyramid pose by slightly stepping closer with that right foot and bringing an extension through your front leg. Lift your gaze to the front, or if your neck doesn't allow, we keep our gaze down to the floor. Same applies here. We try to balance and equalize our body here and our hips. Drawing this time the right hip slightly forward to find that shift. See if you can bring all your attention of your practice today to your breath. Deep inhale and a long exhale. Perfect, you guys. Nice gentle bend into the front leg as we step to the top. And we're finding our forward fold. This time, feel free to grab hold of your elbows for ragdoll and start swaying from side to side if that applies to any goodness in your body. Release and soften your face in this moment as well. And what we're gonna do is just spread our feet wide to the corners of the mat approximately. I will move slightly closer so you guys can see me from center. Then we sink down into our malasana. This is a nice release for the lower back, but also to engage our hips and strengthen the hips, our ankles. Lots of the body is working in this asana. Elbows come to the inside of the knees and palms together. And the more we press our palms together, creating this stability in our upper body and hands, we can push and open the hips further. If you want to engage a bit of movement or feel around in this asana, feel free to do so. Then we take a deep breath in and we send our crown up high again, creating that same length through the whole body as we did in the beginning of the practice, where we tucked the tailbone under. Just imagining yourself creating this really long spine, the longest you've ever experienced it before. Perfect. Slowly, we're going to move along to a seated position, releasing your hands. We grab them for support behind our body, and we just lean into a seated position. Cross your legs together. And take a moment to wind down as we're going to end our practice. Rest your hands on your lap, either facing your palms up to the roof or finding a mudra that suits you today. I will be just joining my index and thumb together for a bit more focus, to internalize all this energy and notice it by each breath. A long inhale, send it into the deepest part of your belly. And when that belly is completely full with air, we send it into our diaphragm and to our chest. And exhale it all out, chest, diaphragm, and belly. Return to your normal pace of breath. Soften your eyebrows and your jaw. Allow your body some relaxation as you release the shoulders. Bring your palms together in front of your heart space for Angelina Mudra. Bow your head down and give grace to yourself for attending this practice, for being present in your body, in your mind, and the connection in between. Thank you so much for practicing with me today on the mat. If you do like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as I will be posting loads of more content similar to this one, and give a little thumbs up for the video as well. Lots and lots of love to you from me.